For more on Iranian reaction in Tehran and elsewhere, we're joined by Negar Mortazavi. She's an Iranian-American journalist in New York. Negar, welcome.
Thanks for having me.
Let's begin with the hope and expectations of Iranians. The reality is they may not see the impact for some time to come.
Yes, Asieh, the Iranian population has been waiting for this deal for almost 2 years now. This was one of the main promises of President Rouhani's election campaign. This is what he basically ran his election campaign on, and he has been saying in his speeches also that he fulfilled his promise to the Iranian people. The Iranian people really wanted this deal for economic reasons, for political reasons, and it's just something they've been waiting for a very long time. They've even celebrated the interim agreement before during this past few months of negotiations, but tonight was the real celebration of the actual final deal.
And you're very much plugged in into the Iranian community. What are they telling you? What are their hopes? And do you think some of the excitement is sort of psychological at this point after all these years of isolation?
Yes. I mean, the deal is going to have very important economic implications for the Iranian lives, but that's not going to show immediately. There's this, like you're saying, psychological effect on the society, this feeling of hope for a better future, which was something that when I speak to Iranian people on the ground, did not exist 2 years ago, 3 years ago. In the final years, especially of President Ahmadinejad, there were really dark years, as Iranians call it. The threat of war, the crippling sanctions had a tremendous effect on the Iranian society. So people had lost this feeling of hope for a better future, which is something that this deal has brought back to the Iranian society. So this feeling of hope for a better future, for next year to be better than this year, is the most important thing that Iranians communicate to me. And also the lifting of sanctions is something that the Iranian population is really looking forward to.
And we're hearing Iranian state television actually broadcast President Obama's speech live. How unprecedented is that?
The last time the Iranian television actually broadcasted that was in the previous interim agreement, which was unprecedented. It was the first time, and this time they also broadcasted it. It's a very important step on the Iranian side and also on the U.S. side. I think the two nations, after 3 decades of just pure animosity and calling each other Satan and evil, have taken really constructive steps towards each other. President Obama and President Rouhani had a historic phone call a couple of years ago, and the two foreign ministers, John Kerry and Javad Zarif, have been meeting almost every month in the public eye for the past 2 years. So the two countries have taken very important steps towards each other, and I feel like the moderate forces are sort of pushing more for this re-engagement and this detente between Iran and the U.S., which has already started, and these are signs that we can see that's coming out of it.
When President Obama made the announcement this morning, he said the deal is built not on trust, it's built on verification. But at the end of the day, if Iran does what it's supposed to do, is it the opening perhaps for building that trust and starting a new chapter in U.S.-Iranian relations?
Definitely, Asieh. I think the negotiations in general were sort of built on both trust and on verification, but the 2 years of negotiations itself was also something that created the trust between the two sides of the negotiating table. Both sides have repeatedly saying that the other party has committed to their promises during the past 2 years. So they've sort of shown a good faith in these negotiations in the past 2 years, which is a complete shift, especially on the Iranian side, to what was happening before. And I think with this deal, the way it's set up is that it's built on trust, but it's also verified based on each party's actions. And both sides have made sure that they have important snapback measures so that they can get out of this deal immediately if the other party doesn't fulfill their commitment.
All right. Thank you so much, Negar Mortazavi, joining us from New York. Thanks for your time and perspective.